Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, and today we start our first of many previews of the 2025 Vuelta a España, which opens with that 181.1 kilometer stage across the rolling roads of Piedmont from the Regel backdrop of Torino to the plains of Novara. On paper it's one for the sprinters, but as always in a Grand Tour opener, the stakes are far higher than just the stage win. The first red jersey awaits the winner as well. Before we start as well, make sure to check out our podcast as well, available on Spotify. The Vuelta a España will once again start in a different country than its own. We had Lisbon being the start in 2024. 2022 we saw Utrecht in the Netherlands being the start, and last time we were in France was back in 2017 where it started in Nîmes, and in 2009 we also saw the Netherlands being the host city as well. And it's only the first time that we've seen it beginning in the home of the Giro d'Italia here in Italy, and next year we'll see it starting in Monaco. There is a sense of cycling history in the air. Torino has become a magnet for Grand Tours in recent years. The Giro d'Italia started here in 2024, and just weeks later the Tour de France did the same, and now the Vuelta a España comes to the trilogy, marking the third Grand Tour to roll out of Turin in just 18 months. No city in modern cycling has hosted such a sequence of Grand Tours in succession, and for Italian fans it's a once in a generation treat. And obviously Torino is a beautiful city and the home of my favorite football team, Juventus. But that aside, the choice of the start of Vignaiare as the official start is deliberate. The Grand Baroque Palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, offers a Regale setting, blending the grandeur of Italian culture with the anticipation of 3 weeks of racing drama. From the ceremonial rollout beneath its arches, the peloton will head northwest before turning east across the Piedmont countryside. The first 60 kilometers are tame. The peloton are passing through Chivasso and Caluso on flat to gentle rising roads. It's chance for the race to settle into a rhythm, for the breakaway of the day to form, and for the early nerves of the Grand Tour peloton to ease a bit. But after Ivera, the profile starts to change. At kilometer 63 into the race begins the stage only classified climb, La Sera, measuring at 6.4 kilometers at 5.3%. It's not an alpine monster, we'll get those later, but on a stage otherwise dominated by a flat road, it's sharp enough to sting the riders ever so slightly. Riders chasing the mountain classification early on will be motivated to crest it first, while opportunists may try to use the gradient to launch into the break. The summit comes at 583 meters above sea level, and also before that, the start of the climb will have some opportunity as well for sprints. But crucially, there remain more than 120 kilometers to the finish. Any attackers here will face an uphill battle to stay away if the peloton are motivated, as we think it will be. The riders will then descend down, and from Biella onwards the terrain softens again. There is an intermediate sprint 95.5 kilometers into the stage, and anyone looking for the green jersey this year will definitely need to be competitive, as there's a lack of flat stages. The second half of the stage is defined by wide roads and long straights, winding steadily south and east through Valdengo, Borgo Manero and Arona before cutting across to the finish in Novara. The profile is not entirely pan flat, as a few undulating rises test the legs, but nothing that should trouble the sprinters. Wind could be a hidden factor. The roads across the plains near Borgo Ticino and Olego are exposed. If the breeze picks up, echelons are possible, though at this early stage of the race most teams will be wary of expending too much energy before the real stages begin. Still, the risk adds tension to what otherwise looks like a routine sprint stage. The running to Novara is as simple as it gets, but there are a few tricky bends for the riders to tackle as well. With Veri, they have a very sharp succession of two turns, and then they have another sharp turn in a roundabout to the right hand side before another roundabout turn to the left hand side, and a final roundabout for them to tackle before a fairly sort of straight run in to the finish just outside Novara. So that will be very interesting to see how they tackle that. It's the kind of finish where lead out trains can not completely relax, but they need to flex their power, and the positioning will be very key in those key moments of the stage. Novara itself carries cycling heritage. The city Italy is the birthplace of Giuseppe Saroni, the Italian star who won 2 editions of the Giro d'Italia and a World Championships. For a sprinter to claim a victory here on the day 1 of the Vuelta would be to add their name to a town steeped in cycling tradition. This stage is designed as a celebratory opener, a nod to Torino's growing place in cycling history, a chance for sprinters to shine, and a symbolic beginning to 3 weeks of racing. The day's only climb, La Serera, will animate the early breakaway perhaps, but is unlikely to derail the script. Everything points towards a mass sprint in Novara, where one rider will not only raise their arms in victory, but also don the very first red jersey of this year's Vuelta. And let's hear what Patrick thought of the opening stage.
Crazy, yeah.
Giro, Tour and Vuelta now.
Yeah. Torino just trying to get the cyclists together, aren't they? Maybe we'll have to go give it a visit. But yes, as Scott alludes to, stage 1 of the Vuelta España, starting on the 23rd of August this year, just for full-on clarification, takes us from Torino to Novara. It looks like it's going to be a sprint day. It's 184 kilometers long. There's like 1,300 meters of climbing in there. So that looks like it's going to be one for the sprinters, or the very few sprinters that have actually decided to trek out here. Pedersen, Jasper Van Uden, Ethan Vernon, some other people. There's not many. The fact I can't remember many of them is a testament to how few there are.
But in terms of the favourites, this is an interesting one because there's not many sprinters who have made the trek to this race. Obviously, there's one rider that I will really like to see, and that is Mads Pedersen, who has been a former winner of many stages in the Vuelta España and points classification last time he was here. So the Dane, in flying form after winning the Tour of Denmark as well in a very impressive manner, will look to repeat the level of dominance he had in the Giro this year as well. And I mean, with it starting in Italy, for sure he will look to do something here. Other than him, other riders that could maybe be playing their part, Brian Coquard, who had a bit of a dramatic Tour de France, could potentially do something here. Equally, we could see Alpecin de Koenig throwing someone up there, but many teams have not really brought a sprinter with them. Even Axel Singler, who was challenging Mads Pedersen in the Tour of Denmark, or Elia Viviani could be up there as well, or Ethan Vernon from Israel Premier Tech. So there are a few riders that could really get in the mix here for stage 1, but I think for sure this will end in a sprint. I can't see it going to anyone else than a sprinter. I don't think a breakaway will be able to hold this off. But anyways, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know down below who you think is going to win. Should I maybe have said Mathis Mikkels of EF Education Easy Post, or will it be a Mads Pedersen tornado show once again? As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.